Welcome to the Noise Podcast, brought to you as part of the Noise Podcast Network and in association with Liquid Death. Thanks for murdering our thirst. I'm Will. What you're about to hear is a special edition of Favourite Noizzes, the series where we talk to bands about their favourite records from the year and what they've got cooking for the new year. I say this is a special episode. Ordinarily, I talk to a couple of different bands per episode, two, maybe even three. We have a little natter and we piece them together into these nice episodes so you get a little bit of a change of pace. This time, I'm joined by the very lovely Blake and Elyrean of Lake Malice, the hyperpop metalcore. Think of a cross between Charlie XCX, Sophie, maybe I guess some Spirit Box, but also just some really cool metalcore, other metalcore as well. And yeah, fascinating duo, Lake Malice, all around lovely people. I'm joined by them for this one as a very special episode because we talk for nearly an hour about all sorts, a little bit about their favorite albums, but there's a lot in here. It was a lovely chat. We didn't cut this down. I really do think they're just great people to talk to. So hopefully you agree and you really enjoy this episode. If you do, please do make sure to follow us on Twitter at Noise Podcast and Instagram at Noise Podcast Network. You can find our main site on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky at Noise UK. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to give us a listen wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah, if you fancy checking out our Spotify Essentials playlist, we got one of those. Or if you fancy checking out even some merch, got some links in the bio down there for you. If you're feeling extra kind, it'd be amazing, wonderful, even spiffing if you drop us a review on your platform of choice. Why did I say spiffing? Who cares? Drop us a review on your platform of choice. It helps more than you think. I hope you enjoy this episode. So I'm joined by Alice and Blake from the incredible duo Lake Malice, who've just completed, I believe, your final show of the year, or you're about to do the final show of the year. Is that right?
Yeah, we got one more.
This Friday. No, Saturday. In Munich. It's a
Yeah,
Ah,
one-off.
it's this weekend. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's just a one-off. It's part of the European tour that we were doing with Blackout Problems. It's just like the last show of the tour was quite far from the rest of the shows, and it's in Munich, which is their kind of their hometown. So it's like a big one for them. So
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be quite wild. We're looking forward to that. And then it's holiday time.
It's not
Finally time to sit back and relax. Have you put the tree up
really.
yet?
It's really not.
No, no,
It's really
yeah,
not holiday time.
it's
It's
not
getting on with you finishing
the album. Yeah.
an album.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be quite a trip as well. Like it's gonna be quite fast, isn't it? Like we're gonna fly on Friday. No, sorry, we're gonna fly on Saturday and then fly back on Sunday morning. So it'd be like
Oh,
really
that is quick. You are literally flying in the day of the show.
Yeah,
things to do to save money.
it gets that
Yeah,
point.
fair enough.
It gets that point where you're like, what's the cheapest way we can do it? Because that's realistically how we have to look at things sometimes. And it's like, oh, it means we just don't get to sleep for 48 hours. That's fun. But I mean, the shows obviously makes it worth it.
Yeah,
But
100%.
yeah, going
Have a
back to
little,
Monday, that's gonna be nasty.
yeah, you can have a little power nap on the plane.
Oh yeah, it'd be fine. Yeah.
Spend
But
most of Sunday asleep.
Oh mate,
yeah.
gonna be corpse and Sunday.
Oh yeah,
So
I'll be
unless your cheap flight back is at like 1 in the morning on Monday.
no, I don't know.
That was an option to be
It
fair.
wasn't the cards, but no.
You're like, should we do this? As someone who's flown back from an event and gone straight to work the same day, don't.
No, that sounds awful. I don't know how you did that. It
Oh, I
sounds
don't know either. It sucked.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
the
humane.
amount of times that I've like had to log on for a work meeting and I've like done a show the night before, and I'm like, especially on that last tour, I've basically just like got myself out of the RV, found the nearest place with Wi-Fi.
Oh my
It's
God.
9 in the morning. I smell like crap, look like crap.
Yeah, to
I'm
use one of those
suddenly in this corporate sort of meeting. I'm just like
You
trying
just
to
opened.
hold
with
together
a weird
for half an
background,
hour. It's like, come
shooting
on,
the weirdest
can make it.
background, like VR
Yeah,
You just
background.
gotta leave your camera off and be like, I'm really sorry, guys. The bandwidth isn't great in here.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
Just ignore the fact that I look like shit, like I dragged through a hedge backwards.
The funniest is when you are on the move in the well, because we had a camper van, but whatever you're using, like if you are on the move and your connection's going like on and off, and you're pretending to be like somewhere else, but you're actually in this like camper van moving and with things falling apart and
It's like I'm sorry, I'm traveling at the moment.
yeah,
It's like,
that's an
Yeah,
earthquake
yeah.
or something. Sorry.
People
I'm just
don't
I'm
really
just
get
I'm just between hotspots.
Yeah, pretty
I'm between
much.
hotspots, back end of like middle of nowhere in
That's
Germany,
life.
just going
You go
fuck.
in
it.
between hot spots. No,
It's yeah, it's a fine art to holding it together in the corporate world whilst being
damn.
yeah
Yeah,
on the road.
as
Yeah.
yeah, it's got to be tough. But like you just said, the shows are always worth it. The shows that you. I mean, I came to the London show of obviously the Blackout Problems tour, and it was really good fun. And it's always really and like you always look like you're having a blast, even when we speak afterwards, and you're kind of going, I'm so fucking tired, dude. But like every time when you're up there, you're giving it everything. Like, and that's why you're so shattered the next day. Like,
That's the reason. Yeah.
It's the
It's a good
best.
workout at least.
It's the best part of the day, though, isn't it? Getting to
yeah,
play this. It's the best part of the day. So if you can't enjoy that, then you'd question why you do any of it, wouldn't you? Really? So
Yeah.
gotta gotta make gotta just
yeah. Even if
enjoy
it's not the
yourself.
best show on of the tour, you're still like, I had fun. I gave it what I
Yeah.
could.
Oh,
Yeah,
every time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the right attitude, yeah.
Yes, man. Yeah. hundred
yeah.
percent. 100%.
So it's
Yeah.
been a good year for you, and obviously we're coming up for a year. Oh, we're just over a year now, aren't we, of post Genesis of the EP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flipping hell, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It
It's like it's just gone out yesterday. I don't know.
yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
Mm,
It. I mean, because I feel like the songs we were sitting on for quite a while anyway, so
yeah.
it feels like those songs have been around forever in our
It does.
minds.
When we play them, we're like,
Yeah,
does it feel like we played them for 20
we're
years?
so ready to start playing new stuff. We're
But
like,
it's funny because a band our size, surely there's people out there that have never heard of them, and we keep playing them to new audiences. That
yeah,
the interesting thing, you kind of
mm,
when you play them live to new audiences, you experience them as you were also hearing them for the first time. So it's a refreshing experience to play them live to when you support other artists, especially because you go to in front of like people who never heard of you, and you're like, these are the songs that we've been playing for a while, but
maybe
here
we'll
it
just keep doing
is.
that. Maybe we'll just never release anything new. We
Yeah,
just
it's just
keep
yeah,
finding new people to
just
play
supporting
the
other.
same songs for.
Yeah, yeah, never do a headline again. Just yeah,
Um,
yeah. But it also went fast because of the headline tour. I felt like that was such a big like for us, such a big achievement to even just put on those shows and organize it all and survive it in a way
yeah,
that made it
Yeah.
real fast. The rest of the year is just been like working towards what's coming next, really, and that tour just was enough of a
it was like
confirmation of so
yeah,
many efforts that have gone
Kind of a
into.
victory lap in a way. Like,
nice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like it because we had such a busy year, didn't we? Like in 2023,
Mm.
it was like busiest year either of us have ever had as musicians in our entire lives. And we weren't quite ready for it, I don't think. We weren't quite mentally or physically prepared. And by the time we got to the end of the year, we were quite shattered. But we'd also it had been such a whirlwind. And then yeah, like you say, it was almost like nice for it to culminate in like a really big, like say big, like a really like, kind of extensive headline tour where we got to play so many places in our home country, and it's such a such a huge moment, I guess, for us as a band. Yeah, and then that was kind of like almost the end of that chapter, I think, in a way, because we were like, right, now we've finally got a bit of a gap to actually figure out what is next for like Malice, and we were really, I think that we were really in need of the time and space for that last year,
Yeah, for sure.
because there was like there's always pressure on us as artists to constantly be putting material out and like
Mm.
what's next. It's so hard to find the time for it, but yeah, I feel like we've really got the time to sort of to get our oh god, I use a corporate buzzword, get our ducks in order.
Oh God. But the thing is, like, when
Make
you're
sure we're both singing from the same hymn sheet. No.
you done?
Done.
Yeah. The thing is, like, if you're a big enough artist, sorry, I think you can afford to do that all writing kind of sphere of things during tours. But for us, it's just it's relentless. Like touring is not just you go on and play a show and then you're done. We handle every aspect of the tour sometimes, especially on the headline run. Like we had amazing crew members that helped us out, obviously, but it wasn't a big crew. And when you can't afford a big crew, the rest is, you just handling things, and me doing merch, for example, or Blake managing all obviously the technical aspects of things. And I think like that is just impossible we put together while working on the road remotely whenever and whatever. You just do not have the physical time to write anything or to be in the creative space to write anything. And
I think that's more it, being in the creative
even
space, because it's like,
mental state,
yeah,
you're just like just
it's a
gave
different,
it all
it's
and
a
you're
different,
done.
it's a different headspace. I think
Mm,
like creating and writing is a different mindset and headspace to performing and being on the road. It's very hard to live both of those at the same time. I think just in general, I think at least people I've spoken to seem to feel that sentiment. Um, yeah, I guess you're probably right. Probably would be easier if you had less to do on
yeah,
tour,
if you had
but
time,
yeah,
yeah. But I think, yeah, this year's been good for us even for that, because we managed to actually sit down and just write and write and write. And since we had like our first holiday together, but also the first holiday in years, and we went away and we were in Italy enjoying the sea, and then in the evenings we'll just write in a very chilled way, like without that pressure of like having no major label around. Like you're just doing your own thing in your own time, and that helped us get into that headspace, I think. And it was a lot of fun, and then we continued throughout the whole year, and now it's looking it's looking good. It's looking
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say you had that really nice because it looked amazing. Like that break you took, like some of the photos you were posting, it looked absolutely stunning out there. So it
yeah,
must have been really nice to just be like, we can relax
yeah,
and we can feel relaxed enough to be creative
yeah,
in the
yeah,
first place.
yeah,
big time.
100%, yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
take a guitar with me, so like
yeah,
I just wrote on like a sample pad basically, like on a laptop. It's kind of a, an interesting like creative challenge for a band that's like, centered around guitar riffs. So that was kind of
Hmm.
cool. And I felt like that enabled us to sort of like have less traditional kind of approaches to how we might write sometimes. So yeah. So it was a good year for us in terms of finding what we think the sound is,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that as yeah, it's just worked out well, because I guess that, there was a point at the beginning of the year we were like, oh, should we be touring more? Because we had a really amazing tour offer. We didn't do it because we were just like too burnt out financially and probably emotionally.
I think,
Nah,
yeah, it was
probably just
impossible.
financially, really.
There's
But
no annual leave left, and the money also, like, it's just it was like a tour coming back to back to another tour. Like it's just impossible. Sometimes you have
yeah,
to turn things down, and then you're gonna regret.
I think it
What if
worked out
that?
though, didn't it? Because
Yeah,
it was
it
like it
did.
was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
actually this, you know, in hindsight, I'm glad we did that because
Yeah, I think you gotta
it's
learn.
yeah,
But I mean, yeah, there was no other option really. I mean, unless you're happy to lose your job for it. But then like the rest of the band doesn't get financial. So it's like a long-term commitment. You can't say yes to everything that's momentary and then like yeah, and then not plan for the
yeah,
future, unfortunately, when you fund everything yourself.
yeah,
You gotta
Yeah.
think of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. As
But
much as like you've got to tour and tour and tour when you're trying to establish yourself, you've also got to be able to turn around and say, not just we can't afford to tour right now, but also like even if we could just about make it work, like break even at best, you
yeah.
know, you're still like, but I'm so emotionally burned out from the last six tours back to back we just did.
Yeah.
Maybe I should maybe I should have a week off.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
again for the long term objective
Hmm,
of staying around and staying sane as well.
for sure. Um, so what I wanted to sort of move on to, and we'll keep talking about what you kind of got coming up next year shortly, but what I wanted to move on to now is talking about, because it is that time of year, regardless of when this ends up going out, um, that we talk about favorite records that came out over the past sort of 12 months. And I hesitate to say I've been calling it favorite this whole time because I don't really like calling it the best album of 2024 anymore because it's so fucking subjective. Like everyone, I mean, most people probably know what mine is, but that doesn't mean it's the best. It's just because it's my favorite. Um,
Is it Harriet?
you know,
Yeah, I do.
you know me
uh,
too well.
you.
It's yeah. So what I wanted to to ask you first of all, I suppose, is what has been, and I don't mind, who wants to go first, what's been your favorite record to come out in 2024?
Nice. You want to go
I
first, or
have
do you
my, I
want
think
me
you
to
know
go
mine.
first?
Because
Well,
it's the only one that
I know what
exists.
yours is. Yeah,
I mean,
go on then.
to me, it's hard because, like, Brat came out, and
Yeah.
that's like, in a way, I felt like I enjoyed the record. It wasn't my favorite that Charlie put out so far, but I
Hmm.
did enjoy it, and I can't deny like it had like such an outreach that's unlike any other work before. So I almost kind of getting jealous that like I've been such an advocate for so many years, and now people are being like, "Oh, Charlie XCX." I'm like, "Fuck you."
Not yours, is it? Yeah,
She's not mine anymore.
it's very proud of you.
Very bright, yeah. But yeah, I mean that had a massive impact on the things that we're writing, but it's not just Brat like itself. I feel like it's just the entirety of the work that she's done since from Room, and all of that stuff still plays a major role in our album and the writing and in general writing. But um yeah, the other one that I've been spinning quite a lot is Big Ideas by Remi Wolf. It's such a kind of feel good sort of album, and she's such a crazy good singer, like a proper goddamn crazy singer, like so good. We saw her live this year, and I think we wanted to go again, but then something happened. I can't remember, but
Mhm.
I just love how it's just kind of genre-less. I mean, it goes towards like pop, funk, and soul in some aspects to it, but then you find those like odd couple songs that are a bit like kind of grunge
Mhm.
Nirvana sounding as well, and she lends herself to so many genres because her songwriting is just amazing. And I every single song is just like it's got its own kind of atmosphere, and they're so unique and very memorable and catchy. And I don't know, to me, like, I know this, we saw the rise of like Chaperone and everything, but I felt like Remi Wolf is the next one that should blow up. Like, she's fucking incredible, man. um yeah, I love her. I love her, you know presence online as well. She just doesn't take herself seriously. It's really cool
Yeah.
artist, and yeah, super inspirational for lyrics writing as well. She's just got this way of making things so personal, and so many references. Like, I love it. Yeah.
I won't beat the Charlie XCX horse too much because Erhan and I had this conversation when I spoke to
Mhm.
him and Deb. But like, I think that's such an interesting record, even if it's not your favorite Charlie record, for
It
the
is.
way that she approached it, rolled
Yeah.
it out. The fact that it's a middle finger to Crash,
Yeah.
of going,
100%.
hey, I deliberately did this super poppy quote unquote sellout record. I deliberately did it, and now I'm going to make something that's abrasive,
Yeah.
like really not going to gel with the vast majority of pop listeners. I'm going to make it so that the cover art is just really like low res, like
Mhm.
it almost low effort, kind of in your face in how simple it is,
Yeah, it's genius. Yeah.
and then to filter through in it
Yeah.
such important introspective lyrics, not just about like obviously there are the more typical I guess Charlie songs, but also there's so much about being a woman, being compared to other women in the industry, her feelings on motherhood, and then
Yeah.
there's also songs about like doing drugs, and it's like and it's like that it's packed into this single package that has gone so far. And then she's also gone, I'm going to do a remix album that takes and makes almost all of those songs unrecognizable, but it's still got that same spirit of it's
Yeah.
my art. I'm going to fuck with it if I want. and it's like it's such a I think like for me it's an incredible statement of artistry, not just of
Yeah,
like where she's at as a musician.
100%. Yeah, she took it to another level with the remixes as well. I mean, when I heard the Lord one, man, we heard that song in the car. We were like, this is like a conversation going on here between two people that you can feel it is just so genuine, and authentic. And it's, it's hard to find. I don't know, like I tend to compare that quite a lot to like Katy Perry's latest release, which was like a piece of trash. And it's the opposite of what Brat is in a way, because like that's what I think like lots of the people in the pop industry are trying to like catch, right? That kind of
Yeah.
authenticity that they wish they could replicate from their past successes, and they just can't get to it. And then there's Charlie, who's just like does it effortlessly. Again, like to me, she's done it over and over. Like she doesn't miss one bit. I don't think there's one
No.
album that I will skip at all. There were a couple that was just not vibing to, like club classics, just can't get into it. But the rest of the album, like, yeah, I can't, I can't complain. And the
Yeah.
lyrics writing as well, it sort of validates what I've been doing so much with my lyrics, where I am so crap at being poetic with things. And I say it in one of our songs, and literally I'm not poetic at all. And I'm really bad with metaphors. And finally I got like a benchmark that says, hey, it's actually okay to just write whatever goes on your mind, like just the way it is, and be literal. It's okay. It's still, art doesn't have to conform within certain constraints sometimes. And
Yeah.
that's amazing. It's the beauty of poetry itself in a way. Like,
Yeah, and it could take so many different forms, and that hers on this one is like, this is, she's like, I'm sure she likened it to like diaries or sending voice notes to her friends. Like,
yeah,
this is how I would speak to them.
yeah,
So I'm sending, and now I'm putting this as like the melody over a club album
yeah,
that's about, yeah, like being compared to other women and being forced to compete in a space,
yeah,
and then being able to just turn around and go, no, this is mine. Yeah, it's amazing. And the Remi Wolf record, I haven't listened to as much, but I did really enjoy when I listened to it.
oh yeah,
So
it's
really good shout. And I think it was because I think I saw that you'd posted it and said something about it, and I was like, we kind of align on pop tastes a bit.
yeah,
So I'll
yeah,
go check it out because chances are, even if I don't like it overall, I'll probably fuck with at least a couple of songs.
100%, definitely. Listen to Wave, the song Wave, like, oh, it just breaks my heart. So good. Yeah. But yeah, do it. Yeah. You'll like it. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, like I think I have listened to that record, but it's been a while, so I'll have to go back
Yeah.
and revisit it. Um,
I'm
Blake,
Great.
your turn.
surprised your choice, Alicia, wasn't all of the unreleased late Malice songs, because that's the thing you listen to 99% of the time though we're
Because
together.
it hasn't come out in 2024
It's come out in our worlds.
in your
We
living room
yeah,
speakers.
no,
Yeah.
yeah,
Really bad.
yeah,
I just listen to our demos all the time.
too
I
often.
just like them.
Yeah. It's a problem for me because then I need to like finish them and I'm like, I'm so sick of this. Like I've just heard it a million times already. I'm like,
I don't get tired of them. I will probably on stage when we play it for two times. Be like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, again.
Um, what was I
I'm,
gonna
I'm just
say?
gonna move
Yeah.
the dog to another room. Sorry, she's just crying. But you can crack on with
It
your
it's
album.
it is very distracting. It's like, have you ever had like a smoke alarm that's like low on battery and it just kind of does an intermittent sort of,
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
really, yeah, that's what her crying sounds like sometimes. It's like this kind of intermittent high pitched squeal, and you're like, it's very on edge. Yeah, okay, she's gone. It's good. The vibes are back. She'll probably start crying through the door as well.
Okay,
We can cut that bit out.
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, that was a good shout though. I dig that Remy Wolf album too. So I don't know, like, so I'm not the best at discovering new music sometimes. I can kind of get a bit sort of stuck listening to the same old stuff. But
Okay.
I come across an artist that I only recently discovered, like literally, I think it was like last couple of months. They're called Magdalena Bay. Have you ever heard of them? They're a duo, and it's like an alt pop kind of thing. Um, and I discovered them because Grimes did a remix of one of their tracks called Image, and I'm quite a big Grimes fan when it comes to like production, electronic production. Um, and so yeah, like and the song was like really up my alleyway in terms of like, like dark pop. So I checked out the band and I checked out the most recent album, which is called Imaginal Disc or Imaginal Disc. Not very good at words right now, am I?
Imaginal disc.
Imaginal Disc. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not the English one.
I think it's image. It's not imaginal.
It's imaginal. Literally.
Imaginal Disc.
IMA.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't know why it's got stumped on that word. There we go. Favorite release of the year. Can't even pronounce the band or the album.
Have you ever heard
Both very simple,
Magdalena
basic
Bay?
English words. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, I really recommend checking it out because it's so interesting. It's like it's a really like a concept album that feels so cohesive, like all the way through. Like every song just seamlessly transitions. Like you literally don't even realize it when the tracks change sometimes. But they do it in such a way that's like clearly like some albums you can clearly see that they thought like, oh, if we just do this like thing at the end of this track, we can easily get into the next one. But I don't know, it's just really seamlessly cohesive. But the thing I like about it is, I mean, they describe themselves as like pop from like another dimension, and that's like exactly how it sounds.
Okay.
For like nostalgic sounding 80s synths, but with like really tasteful production, really beautiful like melodies, like vocal melodies, quite ethereal in places. Not It's not like too busy in the sense that it's kind of like gives everything a lot of space throughout. I'm always listening to like these days I'm always listening to production and arrangements and things like that. That's always in my head, as someone that's producing music. And for that, it just really scratches such a big itch for me, in terms of like what a really produced piece of alternative pop. Yeah, it's quite dark in places, but it's also quite light and poppy in other places. Every song feels like different, but still cohesive. Really, really recommend it. Like it's such a cool discovery for me. Like I'm big into it. Not it's not I wouldn't say like, it's particularly um like, alternative music in the sense that's heavy or anything like that. But it's definitely like I'd say more towards the dark pop, synth pop sort of spectrum of sound
Okay.
things. Yeah, so yeah, give
Yeah.
that give that a shot. Something a little bit different.
Yeah. When you said 80s, I was like, are we talking like synth wave? But like I can get on with some synth pop, to be fair. Like I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
like that sort of sound. So I'll definitely make sure to
It's
check. So
got
that's
it's got
Magdalena Bay, Imaginal
national
Disc.
national disc. Yeah, it's got a lot of like quite funky elements to it as well, and almost kind of reminds me of like some bit like Billie Eilish kind of stuff in some ways. The way it kind of like uses like groove and bass to kind of like glue things together. But my God, dude, the production's so good. Like the use of like layering and like building up. Like they'll start a song one way, and you'll think, oh, this feels like it's quite contemporary sort of song structure, but it would take itself into this really weird dark place that you just do not expect. And it's like,
Nice.
yeah, it's crazy how they make. So still hear the dog
Oh,
crying
she's
so
just
loud right now.
It's right.
Yeah,
She's not coming through.
yeah, it's really cool how I think they take um like unconventional song structure and still make it feel like accessible and not overly like long. It's definitely like a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
That's
really cool. Not sure I've sold it the best, but
no, like
you know what I mean.
for me personally, like one of the main bits is like obviously I like synth pop, but also when you mentioned like the way that they use groove and bass, like Billy, like I like the Billie Eilish record does, because that's another of my favorite pop records from this year. I think it's
So good.
fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Like
oh,
the
this
yeah.
year.
I do you know what, I forgot about that as well.
Oh,
That's probably a good shout out. To be
so
fair,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very good shout out. That
mm,
album.
I like the production on it and some of the work that
Mm.
her and Phineas do is I think some of the ways that he like plays around with beats and different sounds, like her vocal performance is the best she's ever done.
Mm.
And like the way that he plays with different songs, sounds like songs like Chihiro and stuff like that is just fucking amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually helped sell it a lot more as well by basically going, hey, that other pop record you really like, if you liked that.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, I don't know if it's, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm struggling more and more to find heavy music that kind of keeps me entertained for an album. Like, I can do like, I find lots of solid releases, but like often with metal albums, I just kind of get to the halfway point and I'm a bit like, I kind of I find it quite hard to just do the whole thing in one sitting sometimes. I just need to sort of have a palate cleanser, you know.
Yeah.
But I find that when there's a bit more, um, like when it's more in the sort of alternative pop space, you can kind of get away with
Mm.
lots more different flavors of sounds and and combinations of sounds that you hear you don't hear as much of that in metalcore, I guess. It's a bit
Maybe
more like
listening a lot to Bad Omens and even
that's
that
cool as well. The
remix album.
the Concrete Jungle
Yeah,
OST
like
thing's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually haven't checked that out properly yet. I've heard like quite mixed things about what people thought about it. But then again, I wonder how many people expected like a new Bad Omens record from it, which
Yeah, maybe
you
not.
were I don't think you were ever going to get
I
because
think
it
that
was kind of they were theming their tours around Concrete Jungle and stuff like that. It's cropped up as a
yeah,
lyrical theme. It felt like it was gonna be. And
it
when they were
was
like, "Oh, it's an OST," I'm like, this feels like a remix album that isn't quite a remix album. So I should check that out as well, actually, because
yeah,
I do
I
like what they do.
like some of the remixes more than the originals in some cases. Like it's so good.
yeah. It's like I don't almost don't understand why they released all of those tracks like that. It's kind of it's a really cool idea, but it's a very inaccessible thing to like listen to because it's so like it feels quite incohesive and it's
Mm,
not really a thing you're going to sit down and listen to from start to finish, but you're going to pull bits out of it here and there and be like, this is a fun take on that song that I
yeah.
like, or
Hmm.
you know, I don't know. There is an argument to be made that was this just can we feed the algorithm something, you know, in some ways. But there is
Yeah,
some wicked stuff that's come out of it, like Van was amazing. All the collabs they did, really, really cool. Um,
yeah. Van is really sick.
Van,
Mm.
yeah, that's really cool, that song. Big into that.
Yeah,
Production's mad on it. Yeah, it's a weird one, but it's I guess if you're expecting an album because you've been waiting desperately since the last one, I could imagine how that could kind of annoy
yeah.
you a little bit, rub you out the wrong way. But
Wasn't that
it's
only last year though? Or was it 22?
I think it was 20, it was 22, I
No.
think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 22, but I only discovered them like last year, so
I think it's the
it's
same for
still
me. That's why I'm getting
fresh for me.
confused. Is it
Yeah.
took me a year to get that album?
Same,
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
same
same.
timeline. Got that late.
I think yeah, because think I remember listening to it and going, don't get it. Like, what's the hype? And then a year later, going back to it, giving it another fair shake after I talked to someone I know who'd like given a big explanation of some of the ways that he created like some of the sounds on the album.
Mm.
Went
Nice.
back to it and went, okay, you know what? Fair enough. This is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. I think they definitely got themselves like a huge like broad audience from that music.
Mm.
I think some of the backlash that maybe you might have seen to that OST thing they put out is that it is a lot more experimental and it's a lot less pop metal. There's so many really cool like remixes that are like in sort of the cyberpunk kind of drum and bass kind of spectrum and in that and that, maybe that's not what people were expecting from them. Well, I think maybe people's music tastes could have been a bit
Mm.
more linear,
That's what I liked about it.
because it's quite a
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
quite a yeah. I get that because part of the problem as well is, when you're a band like that and you've got a song like Just Pretend where a specific bit of it does as well as it does. And I
Mm.
guess there are people who are maybe expecting an album of that. And what
Yeah,
you're actually getting is the band going, no, we're gonna defy that and be really creative in ourselves, which I think is the best possible approach you can take.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
if a band puts something in front of me and goes, we put everything that is us into this. We experimented. We just did whatever came naturally and focused really hard to make something we're super proud of. If I listen to it and go, I really don't like this, I'm still going to massively respect them for putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time, big time.
But if you're just then like, we know what our fans want, so we just keep doing that. I'm like, all right, AC/DC.
Yeah.
I
Can't
know
be.
it works, but come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I
Just change. Take a risk. Take a bloody risk.
oh, I mean, yeah, you've got to. I think surely that's not a that's a trap to fall into, isn't it? If you're
Mm.
suddenly writing music for for anyone that isn't yourself, then you're just treating it like a business, aren't you? At that point, and it's you know not
Yeah.
why not why we got into doing this.
No.
It's we write for us. It's the way it should always be. Write for yourself.
Absolutely. And I know we've talked about that on a few occasions. So, sort of kind of, I guess, bring it full circle to what we were talking about before we talked about favorite records this year and the writing is what does 2025 look like right now? And it's so weird calling it 2025. What does 2025 look like now for Lake Malice? Like, what's
Nuclear war.
What? Oh my God, Blake! Joke about that right now. Maybe you could have a year ago.
True, true.
No, not even.
We'll leave it.
I
We
didn't
cut
realize you just got the codes lying around.
Yeah, no, it just PlayStation controllers actually like wired up to the nuclear. Yeah, it's just
it looks
But
man.
if we can avoid a nuclear war,
Yeah.
if
If
we
we
can if
can,
we can avoid that, then I reckon
there's
there's going to be a lot of rock and roll to be had.
lots of releases, obviously, and lots of festivals around them. And I really want everything to fall into place the right way, which is why we kind of like
Yeah, I think
really smashing these songs because like we just want it to be the way we want it. Like
yeah, I think
with together with the festivals that have been announced and then there's a few more that are yet to be announced, and I'm really looking
yeah.
forward to
So
it.
so we've got to give a coherent answer. We've got we've got a tour with an artist called Rory, who is amazing and really inspirational to us. And there's also a band on that tour called As December Falls, and that's in March. It's in the
Yes.
UK. We're doing 8 shows, I think it is. Is it eight
Yeah.
shows? Six, 8 shows. Some venues that are like proper bucket list venues for me.
Incredible
Like,
tour.
I
yeah,
was going to say like that includes a little stint at Kentish Town, which is
yeah. I'm
pretty cool.
so stoked.
Yeah.
That's
Super
been
excited.
to that venue so many times as a as a punter. And yeah, I've always like, I distinctly remember going to the Kentish Town Forum, watching a band and being like so annoyed at how little they were moving around and how little they were engaging and see how bored they seemed to be. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. Like you're on like coolest stage in London and you're just, you're fucking it. Like I was like, if I ever get to that stage, I'll go crazy. So I'm gonna probably like fall over and like slip a disc or something during
And
that
so
show.
there's definitely going to be some kind of dislocation, but touch wood, there won't
Nice.
be.
100%. I'll just jump and I won't land. I'll be like, "Where's Blake?" And it's like, "Oh, he's caught on a rafter or something."
He's up in
um,
the rigging, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Horror
he's
movie style.
tangled in the backdrop.
But it's quite symbolic this story as well, because like I do admire Rory quite a lot, and since the get go when I discovered her, pretty much at the HMAs really, because I've heard of her before, but I really dived a bit more into her and her story, and have seen an artist that is approaching a certain stage of life and being able to kind of flip the narrative of this ageist society and industry where you're like thrown away if you're not 17 anymore or something like, and we're in our 30s and we feel that kind of pressure of just is it still worth being around and doing things if you're not like super young, and like it is, and it's like that message that goes so much into our own music of believing in yourself and keep doing whatever you want to do until you get like something out of it. It just means so much more than just a tour. Like it's so inspiring, truly inspiring to us, really is.
Yeah. So, because kind of came across Rory, obviously probably around a similar time as everyone else when they started really getting big on TikTok
Yes.
in the last sort of like year or so.
Mm.
And I never really kind of dived into it, but I've listened to a few songs and gone, this is really cool. But then I did a proper sort of deep dive when I eventually went, you know what? Let's figure it out. Like I've liked a couple of songs what I've listened to. What's the big deal? And I read and I looked at their story and went, okay, fair enough.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
Mm.
genuinely really cool.
Yeah.
That and this will like it'll run well after this does. But I've recently interviewed them. I've interviewed Rory recently and we talked about like releasing your debut album when you're in your 40s, like
Yeah.
they've just turned 40, they're about to release their album. Like, but not only that, but about that connection that you can build about just saying like it's no, it's not too late to be putting something out that's meaningful to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You still got something to say
It's
and then
really
you're
cool.
still
Yeah.
freaking alive, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We should see that more often. Should be the norm. Should be the
100%
norm. And it
right.
should become the norm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that, and we've got some wicked festivals lined up. We can't talk about two of the ones that I'm the most excited about. Actually, I'm pretty stoked about Slam Dunk.
Oh
um,
yeah.
I'd
but
say
there's
that's a pretty cool, like no matter what you think of like, you know, the lineup specifically year on year, but the simple fact that I think this year's well next year's lineup's pretty fucking good to be fair. And then like but it's such a cornerstone of like UK alternative music now.
It
it
is.
Like
is
that's such a cool opportunity to it's a fantastic opportunity to be like we're going to go play
yeah,
where so many bands that have paved the way for other
yes.
alternative acts have played.
Such
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. You're on it. Yeah, well, I think Slam Dunk was like the first festival I actually ever went to, and like yeah, it's such a nice like well, such a kind of hard to believe moment for someone that kind of almost thought they would probably never really do music at a certain point in their life. We just went,
Mm.
oh, probably not a thing I'll ever do now. To go from from like that to I'm actually getting to play this festival that I have such fond memories of. That it was such a that felt like such an incredible place to discover
Yeah.
bands. It's
It's going to be quite yeah, formative. It's like full circle, isn't it?
yeah, it really is. Yeah,
I had zero expectations on Slam Dunk 2024. Like I did not think we were gonna get on the bill at all. Like I really did not think that was gonna happen, which is why I was so shocked to get that offer and be like,
Oh my God.
crazy. Yeah, this is actually crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Like, we didn't kind of these things can kind of just come as a bit of a surprise. You don't always know what offers are coming. It's not like
Yeah. And
it's not
so
like you go into a year going, yeah, we're going to do loads of gigs because we love gigging. It's more about who we
you're at the mercy of
who's gonna book ours. Are we gonna and are we able to do it? Are the fees right for us for it to be viable? All these other factors come into it, and it's you never really know what the year's going to be like sometimes I guess at our level, at least where we're not like stadium selling out a band like Sleep Token, where we're not getting inundated with all the big festivals. It's like, okay, well, what's right for a band at our level? And it's yeah, so it's such an amazing thing for a band
feels
like
huge.
ours. Yeah. Yeah, and we've got some really cool we're doing this festival in Guildford in May as well, which is I think it's a new festival.
True feel.
I think it's like its first year running. We're headlining.
Yeah, it wasn't a familiar name, and I was like, oh.
Oh
And
yeah,
I saw it was Guildford and went, I'm really happy that that's happening. That
yeah,
the it's not just the big cities anymore, or it's not just the big established places that are doing this. Like Guildford, someone in Guildford has
yeah.
gone, no, I want to put on
Put it
Lake
on the map,
Malice in
man.
Guildford.
So sick, and I think they've personally smashed it with the lineup. It like looks really exciting.
Mm.
I mean, all the bands that are on are absolutely outstanding, like good bands. It's such a privilege to play with them. Like, well, who's playing? Love is Noise,
Yeah.
Crash Face,
Tropic Gold.
Tropic Gold.
In
In
retrospect.
retrospect, they're really good. Um, there's a bunch more. Can't remember, but yeah, it's such a really well curated lineup. I think that's
So,
going to go down. That's going to be big, that one. And it's only like 200 tickets, I think.
Mm.
oh,
So
that's good. Nice and
so
small.
it's nice and small.
Yes.
Like it means that there's not like too much pressure on it, or for this for this brand new festival. Like it should be, it should be a good time.
And it's smart booking as well. Like looking at
Yeah,
that, it's a really smart booking of bands that are like within like yourselves and you Tropic Gold, you've toured together, but then also like Love Is Not, you're all in sort of like a specific, your own little kind of niche, but
Yeah.
also like very much generally within this kind of current what is happening in alternative music right now
Mm.
movement, which I think is really, it's really cool to see that they're willing to kind of like be quite forward looking about it and go, let's book, let's not just go, what do we know is going to like, they're looking at it going, what do we know is exciting right now,
just like a good eye on the sort of the scene almost. Yeah, and like we've done a couple of festivals in the past where it's been there's been a lot of like kind of I mean it must be a huge risk for one putting on a festival, but I think you've
speaking
it's
from
at
experience. Yeah.
that level, yeah. Oh, yeah, you crushed it though, man. But yeah, like I think they've got it. I think they've got it right. I mean, obviously, remains to be seen, but we'll
Yeah.
do our best to like promote it and support it.
Yeah, it looks like they're making the right noises and the right moves, but yeah, I mean, like, so I've not been involved super close with like the specifics and the booking, but I helped out at Noise Fest this year. I was helped put that on. We're doing it again next year in Cardiff. We're scaling up.
Look,
Um,
good kid, looks
yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the lineup looks amazing at that.
yeah,
Did you have an involvement in that at all? Is that curiosity?
yeah. So we talk like within because because I'm sort of part of I guess the furniture at Noise. Been there for about 7 years now. I've been writing
Wow.
for them and I've been
Cool.
helping run it for the last few as well. And it's like we very much had we all threw like goodness knows how many bands names into the pot. And then Jack, who's our sort of founder, he went and looked at it and went, okay, let's curate something from this that represents who Noise are as a festival,
Yeah,
well, as a publication, because we weren't a festival till this year.
there you are.
And that was a joke that got out of hand, which was, wouldn't it be really funny if we did something crazy for our 10th anniversary, like put a festival
Silence. Yes.
on? Yeah. And it was sort of met with the kind of, could we?
What?
You know what? Let's give it a go. And it went really well and it sold out. That was just nice. But yeah, no, we've all sort of, we helped kind of shape it. And yeah, there was a lot of discussion around headliner for next year. We were like, because we went through quite a few names. In terms of reaching out to agents, reaching out to them and saying availability, but also we considered so many bands as like yeah, first availability, second, can we afford it? Third, like, is it a good fit for Noise as well? And we're
Excellent.
so fucking excited to have on people.
Really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
When we
yeah.
got that confirmation through, I don't know. I'm sure it's been posted on social media somewhere, but I'll see if not, I'll try and dig it out. But anyway, Jack made this really stupid animation, like edit of the scene from The Lion King where he's holding Simba up, uh, like, and it's like not going bankrupt.
Yeah, amazing.
It's like booking on people, like everyone.
Fucking hell.
It's
Fantastic.
So
really,
sick.
it's really stupid and such a like a massive in joke. But we posted it to our team and like they loved it. But anyway, yeah,
It's a huge.
True feels as well. They look like they're making some really good moves for sure. And
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
Guildford's pretty close to me, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, man.
You
But it's
are
not
in.
that far from
We all
London, so
do
Do it.
it. Do
Do
it.
it. Do it.
VIP guest spot waiting for you there, buddy.
I'll get tangled in the rigging. It's
Well,
You can
good.
come and fish me out of the backdrop when I'm caught up in it. What are you gonna say?
yeah, I was just gonna continue with the other. Oh god, my brain, man.
It's just
Yes.
Monday evening, like brain
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
slowing down,
I
just
was gonna continue
Well,
with
brain rot. Oh right, yeah, yeah. But other,
well,
other than Tree Fill, we've got 2000 Trees as well, haven't we?
yeah.
Which is
I was
always
trying to remember if you'd announced that. I was like, I feel like you have, but I wanted
yes,
to
yeah,
because it was yeah, that's so cool because it's like one of the probably the UK's premier like independent festival that's really
Yes.
on the up.
wicked
It's so
festival.
good.
Such it's so like crazy how well that seems to run that festival. You go to other bigger festivals and you see the chaos of it and you
And
see,
that's
how
so
much
organized.
walking around there is, and you're like, wow, this is like it's almost like the perfect size for a festival, isn't it, actually?
Taking all the
You know,
stress out
it's
of it.
yeah, it just seems to run so well, so smoothly. So
Mm.
I'd be so good to go back to. Have we got anything else that we've announced that we haven't spoke about? I think we've got
It's a German festival called, is
that
it
was
Meadow
it.
or Meadow?
Meadow Festival, yeah, that's like South Germany, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think
too far
it's
from like Munich, actually.
Escape the Fate are playing as everything unfolds,
Yeah,
as December falls.
as December folds,
Sounds like
as everything
unfolds.
unfolds, as everything unfolds.
There's other amazing artists on the lineup anyway, but like yeah, that's it's gonna be good to be back to Germany because we've
Yeah.
done a lot this year and we
Yeah,
love it. It's
yeah,
a lot of German audiences. It's been
yeah,
crazy there.
yeah. And we got a couple of unannounced
Yeah,
EU festivals as well,
yeah,
which were really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Alicia was saying, it for us, we've had this like this year to you know um to retrospectively think about what we've been doing, where we've been heading musically, and kind of get ahead with like our writing. And now we want 2025 to be like the biggest year for our band yet. We want to just throw everything, and the kitchen sink at it. Just give it everything because I feel like
What?
this is the year for us, isn't
Kitchen
it?
sink what?
Everything and the kitchen sink is a saying.
They're
It's a
saying,
British saying.
my God.
You never heard that before. Well, there you go. You've learned something
So
new today.
vain.
You've heard of that one, Will,
How many
surely.
Yeah,
people?
it's a great one. It's like there's the two variations. It's either throwing everything in but the kitchen sink. And then if
Oh,
it's even more extra, it's like everything and the kitchen sink.
and
Yeah.
with a more extra version for sure.
But why the kitchen sink? Oh, anyway. Yes, please
Because
go.
it's an object that you wouldn't normally throw at things because you can't.
Well, would you throw other things in the house? What the?
you
What?
look,
I love how you thought
look,
this was like a plausible explanation. I'm like,
Oh
you're not
no, it's
you're not in any position to mock our weird little sayings because
yeah,
I've heard some of the Italian ones.
let's
And let me
not,
tell you,
let's
friend,
not go there.
they are far weirder and far
Let's
worse.
not go there.
Let's not go there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
damn, I can't ask for your top three.
No, please not. They're really bad.
Okay, well, on that note, thank you so much for coming on. This has been an absolute joy. It always is. So thank you again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, man. Always a pleasure, honestly. Yeah,
Absolutely.
anytime.
Anytime.